welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something that, honestly, can really transform your English.
What's that?
Training your brain to think directly in English.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that sounds big, maybe a bit daunting for non-native speakers.
It can seem like a huge leap, absolutely.
Hmm.
But based on what we've seen in language acquisition research and just practical methods, making that shift, it really pays off. Big time.
It really does. The benefits just, well, they cascade once you start.
How so?
Well, our look at fluency studies, for instance, it consistently shows language flows much smoother, more naturally.
Right.
That mental step of constantly translating, it just starts to fade away.
Exactly. Imagine just having the English words there ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind doesn't have to do that, that quick translation calculation.
Mm-hmm.
And that directly impacts your response time, right, in conversations.
Oh, massively. No more of those little pauses while you're searching or translating.
Yeah.
Your brain just gets, well, a more direct line to English words and how sentences work.
Which speeds you up.
Speeds you up, definitely. And, importantly, it boosts your confidence. You feel better just expressing yourself.
Because you're interacting directly with English, not through a filter.
Precisely. Engaging straight away.
And it's not only about speaking better. Looking at how we process language, thinking in English seems to sharpen your listening too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You start getting the ideas, the context more
Yeah.
intuitively, connecting things in English instead of piece-by-piece translation.
Which ultimately just means clearer communication, better understanding, better speaking. That's the goal, isn't it?
It is. And what's really interesting thinking about linguistic relativity.
How language influences thought.
Exactly. The way English is structured can subtly change your perspective. It gives you a sort of new toolkit for thinking about things.
A different angle, like looking at the world through a slightly different lens.
Yeah. It's like, that puzzle of life analogy. Each language gives you different pieces, or maybe different ways to put the pieces together. Thinking in English might unlock new ways to frame issues, make connections.
That fits. And if you look at, say, research into bilingualism,
Mm-hmm.
there's good evidence suggesting that thinking in the language you're actually using helps both fluency and even, problem-solving skills.
You're aligning your inside thoughts with your outside words.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so this sounds great, but how do you actually do it? Let's get down to brass tacks. It's not like flipping a switch, right?
Definitely not. It's about building habits, incorporating small, deliberate practices into your everyday life consistently.
Okay, step one.
The first practical step, and you see this everywhere in language learning advice, is just describe what's around you in English, in your head.
Seems simple.
It does, but doing that simple thing starts rewiring things.
Yeah.
You're linking what you see directly to English words, bypassing translation, strengthening those neural pathways.
So I'm looking at, say, a book on my desk.
Right. Instead of just book, maybe think, oh, that's a blue hardcover book. Or the cover looks a bit old, there's a pen lying next to it.
And do this silently.
Yep, silently wherever you are, just observing. Your room, people on the bus, your lunch. Describe it all mentally in English.
Okay. It forces that direct link you mentioned.
Mm.
Object to English word, no detour through my native language.
Exactly, forging those new connections.
Got it. What's next? Step two.
Okay, step 2. This draws from immersion techniques. Try to shift your internal monologue, that voice in your head. Shift it to English during everyday tasks.
My inner chatter goes English.
Yeah. So if you're cooking dinner, instead of thinking in your native language about chopping onions.
Think I need to chop these onions.
Yeah.
Or, okay, add some salt now.
Exactly. Or if you're on your commute, that person's wearing a red coat, looks like the bus is late again, that kind of thing.
Ah, I see. So you're practicing everyday words and phrases in a totally natural context.
Yeah.
Just inside your head.
Precisely. It reinforces vocabulary constantly.
Okay, step 3 built on that, you said.
It does. Step 3 is talk to yourself in English, out loud. When you're alone, obviously.
Right. Maybe not on the bus.
Probably not ideal, no. But at home, it can feel a bit weird at first.
I can imagine.
But it's actually a really powerful technique. Speech therapists sometimes use similar things. Just narrate your actions.
Like, okay, I'm brushing my teeth now, putting on my shoes. Where are my keys?
Perfect. That's exactly it. It helps lock in new words and sentence patterns. Plus, it connects the physical act of speaking with thinking in English.
And zero pressure because nobody's listening.
Exactly. Low stakes practice.
Okay, step 4. You mentioned immersion.
Yeah.
Media.
Yes. Step 4 is immerse yourself in English media as much as you can. This comes up again and again in effective methods.
Surround yourself with it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Watch movies, TV shows, YouTube videos, whatever you like, but in English.
Listen to podcasts like this one.
Hopefully. Yes, podcasts, music, audiobooks, fill your ears with English.
And you mentioned something about subtitles.
Right. A key tip, and this is backed up by studies on how we absorb language passively, try without subtitles sometimes. Or use English subtitles, not native language ones.
Why is that?
It forces your brain to really listen, to work out meaning from the sound and the context, even if you don't catch every single word.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
It stops you from just reading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all this exposure just tunes your brain to the rhythm, the sounds, the flow of English. Over time, processing it and thinking in it becomes more instinctive.
Right. So step 5 must involve other people.
It does. Step 5, actively practice with English speakers. Find chances to talk.
This is where it gets real, I suppose.
It is. Real conversations force you to think quickly, respond in English on the spot.
So finding language partners.
Yep. Language exchange partners are great. They want to learn your language. You want to learn English. Win-win.
Or friends, colleagues.
Anyone who speaks English well. Online communities, too. There are loads of options now. Finding people can sometimes feel like a hurdle.
Yeah, depending on where you live.
True. But language exchange apps, online forums, they really help bridge that gap.
And practice regularly, even if it's short chats.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. Even brief, regular conversations build that mental agility in English.
Okay, one more practical step. Number 6.
Number 6, keep an English notebook or journal.
Writing. How does that help thinking?
Well, when you write down your thoughts, your day, your ideas in English, you have to formulate those thoughts directly in English first, right?
Ah, I see. You're forcing the thinking process during the writing process.
Exactly. You're actively constructing sentences and expressing ideas in English. Plus, it's great for reinforcing vocabulary and grammar you're learning.
And nobody's grading it.
Nope. Mistakes are fine. The goal is the practice of thinking and writing in English.
Okay, great. So quick recap of the 6 steps.
Sure. 1, describe your surroundings in English mentally. 2, think in English during daily tasks. 3, talk to yourself in English, out loud.
4, immerse in English media, watch and listen. 5, practice speaking with others.
And 6, keep an English journal or notebook. Applying these consistently really builds that foundation for thinking in English.
Right. But let's be real, it's not always easy. People hit roadblocks.
Oh, definitely. There are common challenges.
Like what? What's the big one?
I'd say a huge one is the fear of making mistakes.
Yeah, that fear of sounding silly or being judged.
Exactly. It can really hold people back. But you have to change how you see mistakes.
Oh.
Think about learning your first language as a kid. Mistakes were just part of it, weren't they? You didn't stop trying.
True. You just kept babbling until it made sense.
Right. Mistakes are natural. More than that, they're essential for learning. Every error is a chance to figure something out, to improve.
So see mistakes as data points, not failures.
Precisely. Understand why you made the mistake, learn from it. That mindset shift reduces errors eventually and builds real confidence.
Okay, what's another common hurdle?
Feeling overwhelmed. English grammar, all the vocabulary, it can just feel like too much.
Like climbing Mount Everest.
Kind of, yeah. But the key, and learning research backs this up, is don't try to conquer the whole mountain at once. Start small.
Focus on the habit, not mastery right away.
Exactly. Set realistic goals. Maybe learn just a few new words a week. Or aim for, say, 10 minutes of thinking in English each day.
Little steps. Consistency over perfection.
That's the mantra. Steady progress. Another thing people struggle with is switching back.
Slipping back into your native language.
Yeah, it's comfortable, it's easy, especially when you're trying to express something complex or you get stuck.
But that slows down the process of building the English thinking habit.
It does. You need to consciously try to stay in English. Start simple. Think simple thoughts first. Then gradually build up the complexity as you get more comfortable.
Push that comfort zone a bit.
Gently, yes. Then there's the practical issue. Limited opportunities to practice speaking.
Right. Not everyone lives near native speakers or has English-speaking colleagues.
It's a valid challenge. But again, online communities, language apps, they offer connections. And don't underestimate the power of this self-practice stuff we talked about.
Talking to yourself, the internal monologue.
Yes. And remember, just listening to English podcasts, music, movies, that's practice too. It's input. Your brain is still processing the language.
Okay, and the last big challenge.
Frustration, feeling like you're stuck, not making progress fast enough.
Yeah, putting in the effort but not seeing the results you hope for. That can be really discouraging.
It really can. But language learning isn't always a straight line up. It takes time. There will be plateaus.
So you need patience.
Patience and perseverance, absolutely. And try to notice the small wins. Did you understand a bit more of that movie? Did you manage a short chat without freezing? Celebrate those moments.
Acknowledge the small steps forward.
Exactly. It helps keep you going.
Okay, so a quick review of beating those challenges. Reframe mistakes as learning fuel. Start small, stay consistent. Consciously try to stick with English. Find practice opportunities everywhere, even online or just with yourself. And be patient. Celebrate the little victories.
That sums it up nicely. Which leads us to, okay, how do you keep this going long term? Make it stick.
Maintaining the habit. Because consistency is everything, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
Regular practice, even short bursts, is way more effective than occasional marathon sessions.
Right, so tip number 1 for keeping it up.
Set small, achievable goals, specific ones. Not just think in English more, like, I will think in English for the first 5 minutes after I wake up.
Yeah.
Or, this week I'll learn 3 new food words and use them in my head while cooking.
Manageable targets.
Yes. Ticking those off builds momentum and keeps you motivated.
Tip 2.
Make it part of your routine. Build it in, like brushing your teeth. Maybe every morning while you have coffee, consciously think through your plans for the day. In English. Mentally rehearse what you need to do.
Integrate it into existing habits.
Exactly. Makes it automatic over time. Tip 3. Use the tools.
Apps and things.
Yeah, language learning apps like Duolingo, Babbel, Memrise, they're great for vocab, and some have exercises that prompt you to think and respond in English.
And podcasts, YouTube.
Definitely. Find stuff you actually enjoy listening to or watching in English. Do it during your commute while doing chores. Makes immersion fun and easy.
Okay, tip 4, community.
Yes, connect with others. Join an English-speaking community, online groups, finding that language exchange partner, maybe a local conversation club if there is one.
Makes it less lonely, more fun.
For sure. And those real conversations are invaluable for building confidence and practicing thinking on your feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the final tip for staying motivated.
Track your progress and celebrate the wins. This is super important for the long haul.
How do you track progress with thinking?
Notice things. Maybe make a quick note. Hey, I understood most of that podcast episode today. Or, I managed to think in English for my whole walk without switching back. Acknowledge those improvements.
Give yourself credit.
Yes. Recognizing how far you've come is incredibly motivating. It proves the effort is working.
Okay, let's recap those maintenance tips. Set small, specific goals. Build it into your daily routine. Use apps and enjoyable media. Connect with the community. And track and celebrate your progress.
Exactly. Consistency, patience, and finding enjoyment in the process. That's the recipe. It's about making English a regular feature in your mind.
So wrapping up this deep dive then, we've looked at why thinking in English is so beneficial.
The fluency, speed, confidence, comprehension.
We've given you practical steps to actually start doing it.
Describing things, internal monologue, talking to yourself, media immersion, speaking practice, journaling.
Talked about the common roadblocks and how to get past them.
Fear of mistakes, feeling overwhelmed, switching back, lack of practice, frustration.
And finally, shared some tips for making this a lasting habit.
Setting goals, routine, tools, community, tracking progress.
I think the biggest takeaway is that this is a skill. It develops over time.
Absolutely. It's not instant. It takes consistent effort using these kinds of techniques. It's a process, a journey of practice.
So we'd really encourage you listening to just start small.
Yeah.
Today. Try describing your surroundings right now in English in your head, or put on an English podcast next time you commute.
Make one of these small steps part of your day. Remember, language learning is continuous. Every little bit counts. Don't get discouraged.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Really try to celebrate those small victories.
Yeah.
Every minute you manage to think in English, every time you understand something without translating, every slightly smoother conversation.
They all add up. They're all signs you're moving forward.
Keep going,
Yeah.
stay curious, and enjoy the process of connecting more deeply with English.
Well said. It's a rewarding journey.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, take care and happy learning.